Welcome to the Ask Coach Mac podcast, where coaches from around the world get their strength and conditioning questions answered.
What's up, guys? Rob McKeefery here, and welcome to episode number 8 of Ask Coach Mac. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a great question from Nick. Before we get to that, I want to thank today's sponsor, Iron Grip. Just got back from the NFL Combine and the Play Summit at Noblesville High School, where Iron Grip was the sponsor, and they have constantly, throughout my entire career, have given back to the community by sponsoring conferences like that. And you know, the return on investment of those things, you never know. You can never really fully get exactly what that is. They do it mostly, and just knowing Chris, knowing everybody at Iron Grip, they do it because they want to truly give back to the community. Just like they're sponsoring Ask Coach Mac here. They do it to give back to the community. And so please join me in thanking them for all that they do. Reach out to them on Twitter or Facebook, and just let them know how much you appreciate that. No, by the way, in my opinion, they make the best bars, plates, and dumbbells out there. And so be sure to check those out if you're in the market for them. Can't say enough great things about Iron Grip, but really appreciate them being a part of things. If you want to learn more about them, go to irongrip.com. Follow them on Twitter at iron_grip, or call 800-664-4766. All right, here's today's question from Nick.
Hey, Coach Mac. My name is Nick Ware, intern at Battleground Academy in Franklin, Tennessee, under Coach Fred Eves. And my question is there an optimal stance or alignment in terms of the squat pattern? I keep seeing with the kids that we get that they all have different stances, and it's not really a one-size-fits-all approach. I was just wanting to get your feedback in the realm of the squat pattern and how it fits different sized athletes. Thanks, Coach.
Nick, really appreciate you leaving this question, and you're down there with Fred Eves at Battleground, so I know that you guys are doing some great things, but want to address this a little bit. You talk about the optimal stance for squat alignment, and typically what everybody will say, and generally, and to some degree it's true, is shoulder width is typically what's given as a recommendation. Now that's not always the case, though. There's lots of factors such as motor control of the entire system, particularly over the overextended spine, hip and ankle mobility, individual structure differences that all influence squat width and depth. And so there's a couple things I would suggest you do to find optimal squat depth or squat width. First, you get into a quadruped head position with your hands shoulder width, hips over knees, shoulders over hands, and rock back and forth with a neutral spine until you start to feel a posterior tilt. When you start to feel that, take a mental note of where that's at. Widen your knees, 1 to 2 inches, and continue to do that. And what you're looking for here is you're looking for the most depth that you can maintain with a neutral spine, and what that position is, and where your alignment of your knees and feet are. And so that'll give you a pretty good indication as to what is an optimal position for your squat. A lot of times you hear people talk about the butt wink and just overextended spine and things along those lines. This gives you a pretty good indication of where your width and your depth should be, where you can do it with pain-free movement. And then what you want to do is obviously take that to a standing position and see where that's at as well. The great thing about the quadruped position is it's unloaded. You're able to kind of do this in an unloaded environment and really know where you're at. Then it becomes just a structural and strength question under load. And so you don't just want to assume that that's the right position under load. You want to obviously work up to that, but it's going to give you a pretty good indicator. A second thing that you can do, and oftentimes I've found this to be equally as effective, is if you just stand your player in front of you and you tell them that you're going to push them twice. Don't really, don't do it to the point where you're going to push them down, obviously. But you're going to tell them that you're going to push them twice. And after the first push, they need to brace for the second push. What'll happen is you push them, they'll rock back, and they'll get into a ready position. And in that ready position, most of the time, that's going to be where they feel the most stable, where their body positions themselves to be the most stable. And oftentimes, that's also going to be the best position for them to find a squat, for them to squat in. And so it's a little bit quicker. It's a little bit, in a time crunch. Oftentimes, that's a great place to start. And then as a great practitioner, you can eyeball them as they're squatting to make sure that they are having their feet straight, their knees are tracking over their foot, their shins are staying as vertical as possible for as long as possible, and that their hips can externally rotate. And so ultimately, the best thing you can do is be there, watch your athletes train, look for those things, and obviously move their feet move their feet in and out to find that position where they're able to maintain proper squat mechanics. So, Nick, I hope that answers your question. Would love to hear what everyone else thinks. Use the hashtag AskCoachMac8 to continue the discussion over on Twitter. I want to encourage everyone that if you have a question that you would like to potentially be featured on the show, head over to www.askcoachmac.com. There you can ask your question by hitting the record button at the bottom of the page. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. And here's a quote to finish off today by Charles Barkley that I think is pretty fitting. I always laugh when people ask me about rebounding techniques. I've got a technique. It's called just go get the damn ball. Take care, guys. I will see you in the next episode of Ask Coach Mac. Bye for now.